When you're ready, Gwen, you can go ahead.
Oh, yes. I'm Gwen, and I just got volunteered to do the website of the Alexandria and Arlington League of Women Voters. So I'm very new to MyLO, and I have a few questions, although I've been doing software development for years and years. So I've already
Awesome.
built a bunch of stuff in MyLO, and I've been enjoying using it.
Awesome.
But I do have some questions. My first question
Definitely.
is, and forgive me, I'm just a total newbie, so you all may know this.
No worries.
Is there a delay between when I publish something and when someone not logged in as me can see it?
Yes, there is a bit of a delay on the very long and not as common end is an hour. But usually we see changes between 5 to 15 or 20 minutes after you have posted that.
Excellent. That took me a while to figure out. I'm
Sorry about
I'm
that.
I'm
Yeah.
texting my co-president saying you should be able to see it now, and it's like it's not there. Um, I just joined the Google group, so I was going to ask about that. Um, my co-president is interested in whether there's any kind of login stats on the website that we can access.
Yeah, well, there is Google Analytics, which is separate from MyLO coming from Google itself, but you can connect it to your MyLO site. There's a spot in your homepage that you can plug in that code. And I can also share with you our previous recordings. I think I might have gone over that in the December office hours that I need to post, but we do also have a completely separate training where we talk about generating that analytics account in Google and then connecting it to your MyLO site. So I can
Okay.
send that your way.
That would be fantastic. I also wanted to ask, and my co-president is fairly new too, so some of this is stuff she doesn't know yet. There are national press releases. I've seen them on other websites where, oh, this is the latest things that's happening in the Colorado State Supreme Court about the ballots or whatever, stuff
Mhm.
like that, current events. Is that easy to get up on our site?
Yes, it is. I'll go ahead and do that with our demo site here. So let me show you. So with the articles and the action alerts, whoops, we do have the ability to subscribe
Okay.
um, along with the calendar and positions. Um,
Yeah, I think we
but
have those. Yeah.
but when it comes to like the national stuff, that is coming from the articles, specifically the press releases. So let me take a look on my demo site. Okay, I am subscribed. You can tell which leagues you're subscribed to through your homepage, and you can,
Mhm.
make changes there as well. So um, in the new draft, it's going to be under subscriptions,
Ah,
and you can
ah,
add, they're known as the US. So every league in MyLO is, the league name without the portion of League of Women Voters. So just search that up. As I said, the National League has their action alerts and articles. They do also have, I think, some positions in there. I don't believe it's a full list though. But the other cool thing about the ability to subscribe, and I just wanted to make a change there so we can show that off. So I'm going to publish it and save. But the other cool thing is that you can promote, excuse me, these subscribed articles can be promoted to your front page. So um,
okay.
not only do they have to be down at the bottom of your articles list, but you can choose to promote them.
A
Um,
specific one, right?
a
Rather than all
specific,
of them.
yeah, you can have as many as you'd like there. The limit of promoted items on the front page, I believe, is 30. So you have quite a ways to go before you get limited. So it dropped that one in. And you just to note, when you do select one of these options, it refreshes the page automatically. So promote and its opposite is demote. Highlight this item. It gives it this outline, but it
Oh,
also shoots it to the top. The the chronological order of our lists, most recent will sit at the top is what this highlight function will follow.
Unless you make it sticky.
Sticky is the same kind of the sister
Yeah.
function of highlight. So
Yeah.
yes, sticky is what you would use around the rest of the site. Only on the front page do you use highlight, but it is the same as sticky.
Okay. Only a couple more, I promise.
No, you're fine.
Um,
I just want to ask a question before
oh
related to
yes.
this.
Okay.
Who's updating the articles for the National? Because is this coming from their MyLO site?
No, the articles are coming directly from their site. So this is directly from the National League. The action alerts are pipelined through myself, but
Thank you.
I copy them from the site. Gwen, you can continue.
So I downloaded a image that I had permission to use from the Virginia League. We're a subset of the Virginia League, being in Arlington, and I may have edited it in the PNG in an editor, but at some point I ended up with a small border around my image. Is that an easy thing to fix, or is that just an artifact of the way I created my image that I should fix?
It might be something residual from the way that it was created because we shouldn't see any image changes within after uploading. And then unfortunately, you cannot change images once they're uploaded. So you have the replace function,
Mhm.
but otherwise just uploading a new version would be another way to go.
Okay, and the one other thing is, so if I started editing something and I've made one or two, and then I realize I don't want to edit that, I've just made a kind of couple changes.
Mhm.
And then trying to back out of that, I once actually deleted the page, which was okay because it was one of my own and it was easy to recreate.
Mhm.
Is there a simple way, once you start editing in a new draft, is there some simple way to abandon that draft?
Yeah, there's three ways. You can simply just go back in your browser. Um, the other two ways that will like give you a fresh new page and not save those changes, you can click the view published button,
Okay.
or view draft if you have it available, or click on your logo.
Okay.
And then if those all three of those options will um, well, technically the logo takes you directly to your home page. View published and going back take you to whatever previous page you were trying to edit. But you can also click any other link, my account. Yeah, clicking out of the page without hitting save, or you often will see a delete button. Um,
Yes.
that'll be the way to avoid it.
Yes. Well, I just want to say I've been doing it for 2 or 3 weeks now, and I'm able to do the basics, slideshows, pages, menu items. So it's
Awesome.
it's obviously pretty straightforward to use. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, stick around. I'm glad that you have joined us today.
I'm thrilled to be at your first office hours.
Awesome. All right, we're gonna go ahead with you, Lynette.
Okay. Just a second ago, I saw you on the front page and you were able to demote an item from the front page. I don't seem to have that option.
So with the subscribed um, content,
Oh, oh, okay. Okay,
yeah.
so it's not
So
for an event or anything like that.
for your own stuff, no, unfortunately, we still don't have that there yet. You can highlight or unhighlight. What's the option? Yeah, the opposite of that. But we still don't have demote as an option in that kind of quick draw menu.
Okay, all right. And then my second question is there any progress with the Purple Gold websites and the sudden appearance of a second menu down the
Um,
side?
we are aware of it and we have let our tech team know, but since we are in a bit of a transition period with them, I don't know if the slight progress that they began, I don't know if that is gonna flourish, because I would imagine they're gonna give our next team some notes on that, but it may just be something that our next team is going to have to just start working on, from where we're at.
Okay.
But we are aware of it. It's just a bit of a slow moving process,
Okay,
unfortunately.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And Judy, and then I have Jan and Maddie after that.
Oops.
Oh, you're muted there, Judy. Sorry. Let's see, I can prompt you possibly. Oops, sorry. I muted you. Sorry about that. I was clicking around. Could you unmute yourself one more time, Judy? Sorry. Okay.
There we go. I just started this week, so I am very new. And one of my first questions that came up, this is really simplistic. What's the difference between the blue and gold websites and the other red and blue or whatever it is?
Yeah, the red and let me pull up another one. So this is the red and blue site. This is our basic template or theme that your site is going to come with. The purple and gold looks like this. And we have two different menu options. Right now it's not functioning as it should be. But with a purple and gold, you have the option to either have a left-hand menu like the typical, or you could have it going across the top. So kind of
Okay.
three different design options for these sites.
Okay. I just saw on our site today, I had not noticed that there's an administrator league menu, which is helpful. I don't know if it wasn't there and I just saw it, but we now have the vote 411 today, which we didn't have yesterday.
Yes, yeah, that is, I haven't made an update to the group just yet, but for any California folks here, I did update all the pictures that I came across. The only ones that might still be out there would be ones that aren't easy as far as the file name for me to guess. Like I was searching Voter's Edge, VEC. So if things were named like 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever the case may be, um, we'll have to folks will have to go and replace those themselves. But yeah, you should, for the most part, have seen kind of an automatic switch.
Okay, great. That's all my questions for now.
Thanks, Judy.
As I listen, there'll be more.
For sure. All right, go ahead, Jan.
Okay, first of all, I'm not seeing the waiting room. I don't know if you have to give me access to that, but you might want to check and see if anybody new has come in.
Are you able to see the participants list?
Yeah,
Okay,
of course. Yeah.
that's where it would be if anybody popped up.
Oh, okay. So nobody's there. Never
Okay,
mind.
awesome.
The downtime problems that we were having in December, we have a huge lunch with League coming up. Like we're expecting maybe 100 participants, and they do their registration online through the website. And I want to know, I want to be assured that we're not going to run into problems with the website going down as much as it did back then.
Yeah, no, definitely a valid question. The work that was done by our current tech team after that last kind of big fallout in December, they did a big boost on our server, and they were able to catch that there was some bot activity kind of clogging up traffic. So that was eliminated, and they were able to save quite a ton of space. And so that is already giving us good confidence in the system. And now our move to our new tech team is going to not only allow us, I mean, they're similarly skilled, but we are a little bit more confident in this new team that we're moving to. And the other side of that is that we'll have more around the clock observation by them. So that's going to be a lot more helpful. So if things ever do go down again, then the response time will be quicker as well.
Great, great. That's good news. When does the new tech team come online?
That's going to be happening next week. So I believe Monday will be kind of our transitionary period or beginning that time.
Okay, great. That's good news. I was not impressed with the old guys.
Yeah, unfortunately, we felt the same.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, I have Jan and then Maddie. Or sorry, Maddie next. That was Jan. And then Judy, I've added you here.
Okay. So, yeah, I was noticing when I signed on that we also have a note about changing over to 411 for the California MyLO leagues.
Mhm.
Thank you for reminding. I mean, I knew that was happening. It did not click that that meant that the website needed to be changed.
Yeah.
And then I see that you actually already changed it. Is there anything more that I need to know about switching over to Vote 411? And is there like any kind of an article that I can post on my homepage to, announce the change or anything like that?
I think that there was a press release. I actually think I posted it now on MyLO just a couple or just last week, a couple days ago or something.
Mhm.
Let me go back and check. Oh, maybe I posted it previously. But I think it's like launch LWVC launches Vote 411 or something
Mhm.
like that. There we go. The LWVC launches Vote 411. So you can promote this to your front page if you want. The only thing is you have to find it in the list on your
Uh-huh.
articles. So at least if you're like me on my demo site, I'm subscribed to just California and the US, and I
Uh-huh.
found it on page 3.
Okay.
Um,
And then you were just
I don't know.
showing us how to promote these earlier in this session, right?
Yeah.
Um,
So I just click on the cog. I just did it right now. But you'll have the option to promote and then it refreshes your page automatically.
okay. Okay.
Is this just for California?
For California, we were before on Voters Edge, and so now we're
Okay,
transitioning to Vote 411.
thank you.
Hmm. But it also serves everybody else. I was switching our images to Vote 411 images, and so now we have more to use across everybody in MyLO.
Oh,
But I
So,
titled them Vote 411, so they're easy to search for.
and the image that currently is showing up in our panel on the left, that goes to Vote 411, right?
I did go through and update some sites, like Sidebar or their voting page, simply
Mhm.
because after I made the replacements, some of the images were broken. And
Mhm.
so I just went through and manually changed those when I came across them. But for the most part, I did not update links and text across every California site. So there may still be sites that say Voters Edge and link to Voters Edge, but the image is Vote 411. And the other thing too to note is that the homepage of Voters Edge says that we are transitioning and it links a couple of times to Vote 411.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed that it's in our sidebar, and when I click on it, it does go to the Vote 411 page.
Okay, I think
So
I did go through and update yours. I think yours was one of the broken images I came across.
okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, Judy.
Yes, I wrote my comments. Somebody's at the
Yes.
waiting room. Um, one question I have is about articles or pictures. Do they archive or they keep? I mean, if you keep saving them, I mean, how does that work?
Yeah. So as long as you leave them up, they stay up. You do have
Okay,
the option to delete or unpublish, and we always recommend to unpublish if you are ready to like bring something down. Um, so to do that, you have a couple of ways to do so. When you're looking at the content itself, we have that link there to unpublish. You can always go to the moderate and unpublish from here or revert to a previous revision. If you were doing it in bulk, then the best way to do that is going to your administrator league menu through to manage content. And there you can You can narrow down your list to just, the articles or whatever. But
okay.
once you have those, check multiple and then unpublish.
Okay. We had somebody that accidentally wiped out everything. But then I thought, oh, well, guess we start over.
Well, we always have the ability to recover content. We do back up the
Well,
site.
I could have done it myself, but it wasn't worth it. It just wasn't worth it. My other comment was, are we still working or we're waiting for the new team to fix the link to the domain name?
Some have been worked on by the current team. I'm also, I think ultimately, yes, it's going to be a new or a problem for a problem or an issue for them to resolve for the new team. I'm also seeking their advice because it seems that, and it's totally natural that the internet and online landscape is different today than it was when we began MyLO. So it may be that domains will now require SSL certificates. I'm not sure. And so that's what I've put that inquiry to our tech team, but because it's kind of this transition now, again, I don't know if they will give me any insight, but I don't think it's going to be a complicated question for any tech team. So once we get the new team going, I think I'll be able to hit him with that one.
I'm trying to publish something with our address, and right now I have to do the whole shebang, through the state. So it's not pretty.
Right. Yeah,
So
definitely
yeah.
not the way to go. So yeah, I apologize on that delay. But
all right.
We do have it on the list.
Well, I have to say I'm absolutely thrilled. I have someone new that's going to help me after how many years. She's a high school student and she picked it up faster than I could tell her. It was like, oh my gosh, isn't this wonderful?
Congratulations. That's awesome.
But she's a high school student, unfortunately, and
So not too
because then
much
she'll
time.
go on, probably off to college and oh well.
Well,
Anyway,
maybe she'll tell all the college friends too, and then you'll have an
yeah.
influx of college students.
Well, we're getting quite a few high school students, so that's nice, but they also they grow up, go away.
Yeah. Oh, but that's great. That is a
Yeah.
good idea.
Yeah. Why not use them when we can? So, all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? Mary Jo.
Hi, everybody. Okay, again, technologically challenged. So I've seen a few people, in the Gmail talking about this domain thing, as Judy just brought up. I don't know if we have that issue or not, or maybe Jennifer knows. I think we pay for some sort of security, but I don't know.
You can check just by doing exactly that. So typing in lwvddh.org. So what we have been noticing browsers are doing nowadays is assuming the S in the HTTP protocol. And that's just because of best practices nowadays. It provides more security, but the difference with our site situation is that everything is actually handled on a secure domain because your site's content is all on the technically lwv.org domain and the my.lwv.org subdomain. So there shouldn't be that security risk, but again, I don't know why. I'm needing some more advice on, I guess, the disconnect where the browsers are assuming there's a disconnect. But it does look like, Mary Jo, yours does have the S included or has the SSL certificate applied to the domain. Because again, the browser automatically assumes HTTPS. And since it was a valid domain, it followed through to MyLO. With other domains that do not have the SSL certificate, that's where that browser page comes up where it's like, warning, it's not secure. That's where the issue comes up.
Yeah, I think we pay for that. Can you, while you're on there, that's great. Can you go, because this is my second question. Can you go down, just move down, and there's an article. Keep going. Keep going. Stop. Okay, so the bottom one, January Lunch and Learn. So if you'd read more. And then go down. Okay, so see where it says, I mean, it's a strange email to me, that EXD dot, I don't know what that is. But anyway, you know, I put it in as, you know, certainly didn't, why is that %20 showing up? And I know this isn't the first time I've seen that. Any idea?
That's HTTP for space.
Yep. Yes.
What is it?
20.
What is it?
It's a space, but carefully encoded so HTML will notice it.
Yes.
So I've got too many spaces, or I need to add a space?
You just have one space that needs to be removed. So
okay,
let me.
Thank you. Okay.
Assuming it's not part of the original email.
No, right. I typed that in.
Let me masquerade so that it doesn't look so different.
Thank you.
Except when I copied and pasted it, then it came in as it came in as that with quotes and at rather than the sign.
Some folks do that to deter bots from just picking it up. The other option that you have,
I didn't see what you did, but you must have deleted something, and I just didn't notice it.
I haven't done anything just yet. So I just came in here, and it's because it's hyperlinked. So whoops, let me bring this little window if I can. This little window over.
Yeah, that's the way I tried to fix it.
Yeah, so that's the space. But actually, instead of hyperlinking it, what I'm going to do is actually break the hyperlink. So unlink it. It looks as if it's not hyperlinked, but what MyLO does, it's automatically going to hyperlink it for us and keeps it from being picked up by bots. So if we just save this.
Oh, okay. That's what I did do. Email. I linked it again.
Yeah, you can leave it just like that. Let's just save it as a draft to check it out first.
Just like a website.
Yeah, and so it does it for you. And then once you go back in to edit, I think now it'll be visibly hyperlinked for us in the edit. Let's see. No, it's not. And that's fine. But it does hyperlink for the viewing.
Well, there's a duplicate in there. If you go past the one of them's a flyer. There it is. One of them's a flyer and one of them's the some text.
Yeah, I did the text. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would suggest that too, since the image
it's not linkable. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not as accessible since the text in the image won't be accessible by screen readers. So it's nice to have it copied down below. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'll go ahead and apply that. That's the cool thing about email addresses. You don't have to do any extra. Just typing them in is all you need.
You know, I probably knew that, but I just hadn't done one for a while. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I see Judy's hand next.
If you don't mind, going back to the domain name issue. So when I clicked on that and got the message, I used Chrome, and then it said, do you want to update your security something on Chrome? And at that point, I thought, I don't know, because I don't know anything about it. I don't know whether that's a good thing or not. And, you know,
for that, I think it's asking about like your privacy settings. Let's see if I might be able to pull it up.
If you just type in Do you know what, I don't know what you're trying to do, but
Because the question may be the question that your browser is posing to you. I think it's referring to your browser settings.
yes, it
Okay.
is.
Yeah, and there's a way to, and I was, here we go. Privacy and security. I think it should be here. Um, because there's safe browsing. So they have 3 levels of safe browsing. There's no
Okay.
protection at all, which they never recommend that. Um, Standard protection is what you usually will be set up with.
Uh-huh.
And I think what it's asking you is, would you like
Right.
to upgrade to enhanced protection? The biggest difference there is that I believe it doesn't allow tracking, faster proactive protection against dangerous websites, warns you about password breaches. I mean, I, I don't think that it should like mess with your browsing experience. One thing that comes to mind for me is that it might mess with like social media tracking websites or like if there's widgets for Facebook or like an Instagram embedded post, you might not see it as anybody or a typical user would. It wouldn't load because enhanced protection might prevent that website from tracking you.
Okay. Well, that one might not be a bad thing.
Yeah, I would say test it out because you can always change it back if it's,
Okay.
not what you like, but they're doing it for users' benefit. So I would think it should be good.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Lynette.
Oh, okay. Um, I'm kind of missed. How can we tell if our website is having this domain issue? It
Simply
is.
just by searching for it. So typing in your address without like the HTTP portion. If you
Mhm.
use just simply your root domain, which is, myleague.org, or if you also use your subdomain, www.myleague.org, just search for that. And you'll
Okay.
see the browser for a split second. We could see that the HTTPS came before your domain. And so that's the confirmation. And the other portion is that it didn't stop at that, warning page prior.
Okay. Okay. So it's fine then.
Mm-hmm.
You
Okay.
could do a
Thank you.
sample. You could bring mine up and do it www.lwv-bf.org. That's
Oh,
it.
okay.
It like for a split second seemed as if it was going to go. So I'm just at a loss. And because we're seeing these cases of other domains working and they do have the SSL certificate, that's why I'm kind of leaning towards that. But again, want to make sure that we get some advice from them because if it's something that we can somehow help to mitigate, then that's obviously the better option since SSL certificates, there's a couple of free options, but the one that I had seen was like a 30-day free SSL certificate, and that's not very helpful. I mean, maybe it could hold us over until the tech team comes in, but I don't think that that's really as realistic of a solution.
Is it depend on if you have GoDaddy or
I don't think so. At least from what I'm assuming, it seems like it's browsers that are doing this and not mind. It's not about where the domain is coming from, but if they are seeing that the domain does not have an associated SSL certificate, that's where I think the issue is coming from.
so we should be trying testing this with Chrome or what?
With any browser, I believe that Chrome and Safari are the ones that are kind of, the most up to date as far as these kinds of security features. But I would imagine the other kind of smaller browsers are still working towards this if they've not already. So yeah, it's definitely something we need to get to figuring out if this is going to be just how the internet is. but yeah, it's definitely worth testing if you do have a domain, because we want to make sure that we're catching everybody, to get the best advice out to everybody, because not every MyLO account has their separate domain. Mary Jo.
So I just wanted to share, and actually I don't remember if I even went into it, but there's a LWV USA thing called League in Action graphics library. And it was dated November 3rd. And it says library of graphics to use to promote events, actions, and more on League in Action digital organizing tool. So I don't know if we can use these for ourselves for, pictures and so forth.
Is that coming from their website?
Yeah, yeah, it's if you went into the how do you do that?
The league management site?
Yeah, like where you have a search bar. So if you went into League in Action and then graphics library, it would show up. Or it should show up.
If I search League in Action?
Yeah, and then maybe add graphics. Well, see what happens.
I see.
Yeah, okay, there it is. Okay.
So I went to League Management and I searched League in Action.
Yeah, so not sure. Yeah, so
okay, so you would click this and it downloads a zip.
Yeah, I think that's what it did. Maybe that's why I didn't really get into it too much.
Yeah, but that's awesome. So more graphics, the better. Yeah, the league management site, I feel like they have really been growing it. Content library might be a great way to find all these. No,
I
actually,
didn't notice that.
This might just be all of their content. But I've been coming across their communications stuff a lot, since they do offer the Vote 411 graphics. Okay, this looks like a great place too. So the League in Action was what I searched for, but I'm also looking at templates and graphics.
Can you put it in the chat?
For sure. Oops. So that's templates and graphics. They have quite a bit of material here. Oh yeah.
I still check their Facebook because I'm waiting for something for Martin Luther King Day. So I keep checking National and see if they're going to do something.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised they haven't come out with that yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good source as well to just check the social medias as they post. Maddie.
Yeah, so I just had a question actually about Vote 411, since we were using Voters Edge before, and we had our local candidates in Voters Edge, and I was wondering if we will also have that in Vote 411, if there's somebody who's managing that or who needs to manage that.
Yes. Short answer is yes.
We do have our team. I would say if you Sharon Stone is our person. I mean, she was our go-to for Voters Edge, so she is continuing that role with Vote 411. So I would say if you had questions about that kind of coverage, you could reach out to her, or even like their general Vote 411 inbox. It's info@cavote411.org. So that's specifically for our California Vote 411 team.
Okay. Yeah, because I know that with Voters Edge, basically, like if you go and someone and a candidate had not put anything in there, you could punch a button and invite them to come put their information in there.
I see. I don't think that's gonna be I don't think that Vote 411 has that feature, and I don't think we can
It
make that.
does.
It
Well,
does?
It does.
Oh, okay, awesome.
There's a lot of resources on the national site for Vote 411.
But the vote411.org site, if a candidate, say, is not listed his own answers yet, is there a way for a voter to say, reach out to them?
The voter can't, but
right.
whoever
okay.
whoever the local league manager or the state league manager can.
Okay. Yeah, that
so that's
makes
different.
sense. It is different though, yeah, because
Yeah.
Voters Edge, we did have a way for, I think, voters to reach out to them via social media, or it was something that allowed the voter. But I think we might just be doing more social media campaigns in that way. That might be a way in to just say as a reminder, all candidates should be jumping in, and it gives you more content.
But
yeah.
They do have ways to communicate with the candidates for people to push them.
Okay.
Because their email is included in their information at the beginning.
Filings, yeah.
No, I mean like on the webpage on 411, if they've provided their email, it's there.
Is that correct?
Yes, but if they have to actually put something in, they have to answer their questions.
No, I know,
because the emails they use for filing aren't necessarily put.
Okay, because to me, that I would expect to go on 411. I would expect to see contact information about the candidate, including how I can contact them via email.
Right, but if they haven't responded, you will not be able to.
I understand that.
And I think, and I think that's where Maddie's question is, since they haven't responded to Vote 411's questions, then we unfortunately don't have a way. Yeah. I guess it then goes on to the voter to have to search for that, it sounds like, since it isn't just readily available on Vote 411.
So for our local candidates, will 411 be like scraping the Secretary of State database for their filing information, so that we have a minimum of that, but that their individual positions and the things they want to tell the voters, the candidates themselves have to put that out there, right? But do we have the candidate? If the candidate is on the ballot, will they be in 411? Even if
I know Michigan, it's organized that the state races are handled at the state level, and the county races, whatever the leagues within that county split up the county races. So, for example, we do Dearborn Heights, and some of the school districts, and Detroit does, some of the other ones, and we split some of the circuit judges.
So when you say
that's done at the county level.
So when you say you do them, is that you enter them into the system, or do you
enter them into this? We enter them into the system and contact them.
Okay, so there is no part of 411 is not going to all the candidate roles and importing that data. We have to go and find that candidate list and import it ourselves. Is that correct?
That's correct. Okay. But it's not that hard.
Okay.
Your county clerk should have, if you're working at the county level.
Yeah.
And like I said, the state generally takes all the state races.
Okay, yeah, because I was just looking at the list. I mean, there's a zillion people on there, but hopefully there's an automated way to put that basic information out there, and then the candidates can enhance it, I guess, with their comments, right? Do they have access to it?
Yes.
I'm totally unfamiliar with 411. Sorry, I'm used to Voters Edge.
You might want to contact, after you contact your state, you might want to contact Megan Brown at LWVUS. And she'll be able to hook you up with an whoever needs to administrator's license, and you can have more than one administrator, and it doesn't take long.
Well, I guess Sharon Stone is our person for California, so I'll just reach out to her.
Yeah.
To start.
Yeah,
yes,
for
She'll
sure.
probably be able to point me in the right direction.
But there's all sorts of resources at the national level on how to actually maneuver around.
Okay, good. Yeah, I just want to make sure if we've got it on our website that we have useful information for Ventura County.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I'm glad that you're thinking about that, and I'm pretty sure Sharon will be too. So yeah, reach out to her. She'll have a whole lot of information on how things are working. But yeah, as Jennifer said, Megan will be able to give you so much knowledge on how Vote for 111 runs too.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Jennifer, for answering that, because I don't know much about Vote 411. I'm available to help on our staff, but I don't get involved if I don't have to. Mike.
Unfortunately, I know too much.
That's how Lee goes. Okay, Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, yeah, that's the first I've heard of 411. And so if you can put some of the contact information into the chat, that'd help me out. I'm sorry, I'm in Michigan. I'm in Berrien and Cass counties. So if I have to load the candidate information into 411, I am at a loss on how to do that or even who to contact.
No, I think if your league probably already has somebody established for that. If you're in Michigan, it sounds like your state already uses that. So I don't think that it's definitely not anything to worry about with MyLO.
Okay.
So
I know it's the 411 that I'm worried about. So yeah, I know I can put in the name or my address in the 411 and get all the right precincts and stuff, but I did not realize that you could also put candidates in the 411.
Yeah, it comes up with your candidate and measure information. I mean, this is the time where we're seeing the Vote 411 sites being populated, so we're gonna see candidates and measures now. We just may not see responses yet for candidates.
Okay.
Mary Jo.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, just from the end user point of view, so what happens is you have a team, and Jennifer's on that team. They get the list from the county clerk or whoever. There's a 411 has its own system of emailing. They contact the candidates, and the candidates hopefully will get back to them. And we have questions that we ask them, up to 6, and those go into the Vote 411. And so hopefully, Mike, your area does do it. It does involve some work. So, maybe not all groups do it. But the reason I put my hand up was I just wanted to, we were talking about security earlier. And Jennifer, hopefully, and I will be on a constant contact webinar probably next week about their upper or higher security with Google. And what's the other one, Jennifer? Anyway, Google.
I can't remember, but we're okay.
Yeah, the idea being that sometimes people's emails go into junk.
Google and Yahoo.
Yeah, Yahoo. Okay. So it's just kind of interesting. And I don't know if that will affect anything we do, but anyway.
No, that is an interesting point to bring up. It's worth keeping in mind. I did see a similar email from another group where I think that Google email, and you mentioned Yahoo as well, but I just recall Google email might be doing a bit more to ensure safety in inboxes. So I feel like they're going to be a bit more strict on emails. So it's worth us keeping in mind to make sure that ours are still within, the proper guidelines, which I imagine they are, because we have been seeing better performance of our emails. But yeah, we'll be keeping that in mind to review.
Yeah, it's something to do with authentication. So if you don't own your domain name, you're using like a Gmail, it's more of a chance that you could send out, 1,000 as the I'm in London, send me money, emails to 900 of your dearest friends. So that's what they were trying to avoid.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely be looking into that more.
Ooh.
Liz.
Um, well, our state of Illinois does not use MyLO. And at one point, I was trying to encourage them to use MyLO for the action items.
Mhm.
But what would be the cost to the state league if they implemented that and not do much of anything else on that site?
So the access to the site we can't unfortunately limit to just certain sections. So that would be the full cost of the site. But it's not something that I have yet asked to see if it might be something as far as like a chance for revenue through our staff. I'm not sure because you're interested in seeing if they could have access to just like action alerts and articles or something.
Yes, yes, because as it is, Barb Scott uses her website to add the state ones, so a few of us subscribe to hers, but it would make a lot more sense if it could all be on the state site, and all the people in Illinois who have MyLO sites could subscribe to it. Well, they can subscribe to Barb's, but we also get her other things that have to do with her area, which we don't really care about. And
Okay.
so,
I will ask. It is worth asking because if, like I said, if we grant them access to the site, then it's the entire site or nothing, unfortunately. So I'll
yeah,
see if maybe there's another way we can have our staff work into it.
I can see that it would be hard because you have to, it's sort of an honor code, you know.
Right.
Um,
And at the same time, I guess it makes sense that they wouldn't want to duplicate their site, but it would be giving them access to an entire website property.
yeah. So I mean, if it's a full cost, I don't even think I'll ask them because it's not like we're loaded with money.
Yeah, no, I'll ask our executive director about what I'm thinking, and I'll get back to you to see
Thank you.
if it's possible.
We have the same issue in Oregon where we actually have to go out to the state site to get the action alerts and stuff. So it would be really nice if they just came.
Yeah. Lynette, I was in Portland this week.
Nice. We actually had we gave you some dry days, so good. I hope you enjoyed it.
I wouldn't say the weather was very good, but we went to Pals.
Oh, that's the highlight for Portland, or one of the many highlights for Portland. I hope you enjoyed it.
I did.
It's a huge bookstore that's a whole city block, very
Oh, wow.
multi-story. It's just book heaven.
My husband wrote a book, and so he was there doing a book event. And they even have a marquee, and his name was on it. It was really like he was a movie star or something.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, we do love books in Portland.
That is awesome. All right. Anybody have any last questions? I also wanted to show off one more thing about our front page if anybody didn't have any questions. I mean, I guess regardless.
Well, I just want to say, you may have already mentioned it. So are we going to start the Thursdays in February? And what date would be that date then?
Yeah. Thanks for mentioning that. And we'll talk about it at the next session too. But yes, February, that's going to be the 8th.
Okay.
But our next session will be the 26th. So still another Friday. That'll be our last Friday.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to go over
At the same time?
At the same time, yeah. I want to go back to.
And how often is that? Is that every 2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And we have our board meeting on Thursday.
Oh no.
We'll see how that works. Sometimes we have it on Zoom and sometimes we have it in person, and the in-person ones conflict with this meeting, but the Zoom ones are at 4, so we'll see.
Sorry
And
about that.
That's okay. And it's monthly. So if we do this every 2 weeks, then, it staggers. We'll see.
Well,
and you always record it.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
do have that. So.
Okay, so yeah, I wanted to show you really quickly, since we did play around with promoting some of these to the front page, I wanted to show you how you can rearrange them, limit the number that we see, because right now in my demo site, I have maybe a little too many. And instead of going through each one to demote each one, I can go through the Administrator League menu and go to Manage Front Page Items. And the first thing I'll do is limit. So let's say I just want to see 5 of them. It's not until you save will you see that they are visibly limited to 5. But before I save, let's rearrange them a bit. That's the other cool thing about customizing the front page order. Let's say we want just those up there. Actually, let's say diversity should be included instead of the clone. So once I save, I can visibly see that where the line is. If you wanted to rearrange from there, you still can. And you'll notice that the darkened ones come up, and whichever number you've brought up, obviously the next ones below will be removed. If you ever wanted to get rid of that, you have the reset button, but I wanted to show you what that looks like after we've saved a custom order. We rearranged the order, we limited the visible items. The highlight still gives us that little outline, but notice that it no longer takes the priority spot because we have forced a custom order. The manage front page items was on my mind because of Gwen's question about the front page items. So I just wanted to make sure I showed that off.
What was her question about front page items?
Or it was about the subscribed items, and then we showed how to promote those.
Okay.
Any questions about that or any other question?
Well, related to that, and Liz will agree, when you are, managing and moving things around, it's so helpful to have the date of the event embedded in the information.
Yeah. I don't have an event myself, I think, right now. Oh, I do. So the date on the right for every single thing will show you when you created it, or this on the left next to the actual title of the event will show you the event date, because often they are not the same. You're usually going to create your event before the event date. So yeah, that was a helpful suggestion by you folks. It makes total sense to have it there.
It makes it so much easier.
So is that automatic, that when it's an event, it includes the date of the event?
Yes, that is automatic.
Yay. That is a great idea.
Mike.
I did one that's actually a 3-day event because it's a Martin Luther King Day at museum. So you had to use an article because it would look funny to have the, one date when it's really 3 hours or 3 days.
So I've been loading our events into the calendar and then promoting the calendar to the front page of that event. But then we also have a tab calling past events.
Mhm.
And when those events go past in my calendar, they show up under past calendar, but they don't show under past events. I see somebody is manually loading PDFs into that thing or images. Is that, I guess I'm questioning if you could send me, you don't have to hold this down, but how do you put things, what do you use that past events for on the tab on
Let
the
me
left-hand
take
side?
let me take a look at your site specifically. What's your username, Mike?
Oh God.
Or your maybe the email associated?
Try John Schnabel at gmail.com.
That's it. Thank you. Okay, because I can take a look directly. So on your calendar, and
You
you're
scroll
talking here.
down. Yeah, the calendar. No. Yeah, this works fine. I put it on a calendar. I can promote it to the front page, and then when the date goes by, this goes
Then they go
into
here.
the vast. They go into past calendar. But there's another past events here on the left. If you look with the star on
Yeah,
it,
I do, and I'm not sure.
and I'm not sure why that somebody is pasting these in, and I'm not quite sure if this is something somebody else created.
Yeah, I don't see a need for that.
So when I go to moderate, I see the creator is Michael McCaffrey. So this,
All right.
I think, was created just previously. If you were looking to, let's say you want to keep that and you need to change the link to it, or if you just want to get rid of that menu link, let's say if you
Let's
wanted
look
to
at this one
change
here.
it.
No, look, click on this view past events here on the calendar. Yeah, that's what I'd rather have it right there.
Okay, so that I will copy the URL.
All right.
So you can hover over your menu on any page and that cog comes up and we
Oh,
will
okay.
go
And then
to
just put it there. Okay.
it's list links. The edit menu option lets you change the name of the top menu link, but if you want to change anything else in the menu, list links.
Okay. And then you go to edit.
And I'll do it for you since I'm already here.
All right.
When we edit.
Because past people, as you're finding out, did not use the calendar to put in their events. And that's why they created a special tab.
I see. I see. Yeah, because this is the automatic archiving.
Yes.
The calendar dash archive is where it will automatically come in. So let's save that. And that's saved. Unless we wanted to rearrange its position, then we would hit save, but otherwise we could just go back and let's test it out.
Yeah, I've used that menu before. So
there we go. Awesome.
The other thing too, I do, the events are great because you put in the title and the event date and location, but then when you promote it to the front page, it sometimes does not have those critical events there. It just gives you the top 3 lines or whatever, and then you have to read more. Go back to the front, the home page.
Yeah, if that happens,
you can see here, I would like to have sometimes more things on the lines visible.
Yes, if that is the case. Yeah. I won't actually make the change stick. I won't save it, but I want to show you how to do it.
Okay.
Unless you like the change and you're like, yes, save it. But so the MyLO system automatically takes about the first 200 to 300 characters of the body.
Yes, I figured that out.
But that's being done from the HTML side. So the more formatting you have, the less you're going to see of the text. But you can get around that. So the edit summary button will open up this summary box, and this is the way to get around it.
Oh, okay.
So let's say you want just that. I wouldn't go simply just copying and pasting because then we lose the hyperlinks. And if you want to keep all your formatting, this summary box is not WYSIWYG compatible. It is HTML compatible though. So that means we need the HTML tags and all that to generate the formatting. So to do that, we disable rich text. It's a little harder to recognize your breaking off point. If you're not able to recognize it, what I like to do is add a word that is just not going to be anywhere else. Usually that's my go-to word. And then I disable the rich text and I hit Control F on my computer, see my words already in the search there. But when I search for dino, I don't know why it's available in other places, but obviously we see the word dino. That's my kind of breaking point. So now I know everything before the word dino, I'm copying.
Except that wouldn't you have to close your paragraph tab?
Close your paragraph tab. I'm not sure what
So
you mean.
if you look at the HTML, it starts with P and there has to be a close, a bracket / P.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's my guess.
I'm going to test it out. That is a very good point because typically there should be a closing tag for this one. But let's see what it does because that closing tag is sitting at the end where we excluded. So let's see what it does. Going to enable rich text, remove the word dino. And Mike, does that work for the summary where I just copied until national popular vote?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. I'll go ahead and save this. We will need to publish so that we can see that on the front page.
What you're telling me then, the summary always gets promoted to the front page.
Yeah, summary is what shows up in the front page, in a calendar, any list.
Okay.
And so.
And if it's in the body, only the first 300 characters if it doesn't have a summary.
Right. And
okay.
and that character, visible character number gets smaller the more HTML formatting you have in the background.
Okay.
And it didn't care about the closed paragraph tab at all. Awesome.
I love it. Yeah. So glad to see that that was ignored. So yeah, it is. That's my way of doing it because
Perfect.
having to write out HTML formatting is just not the way to go.
Yeah, I don't have my HTML formatting for dummies book yet.
Lots of web pages for that.
I would just say that, you know, as long as you've got a link to the bills in the body, in the read more, I personally would never, as you know, deal with all that HTML stuff. But it's good to know, you know, that if you want to do that, you can do it.
Right.
I don't have an example now because the calendar went, but usually when I have a calendar event, you would think it would always put in the title, the date, and the place, but it sometimes doesn't always promote that. I found out.
Definitely let me know when if you come across that again, because it should always display the same as far as the events go.
Does he have any calendar events on there?
Not on the front page. You're only on the past events.
Yes, past events worked. Yeah.
But like, so this,
I'm sorry, that's the part that doesn't get, I'm sorry, the date and events, but then it sort of just goes like that first line and then it doesn't get the second line.
Yeah, this is coming from the body. So that's the reason why.
Okay.
Oh, this one just doesn't have any body text. But yeah.
No. Okay. Cool. I'll play with it then. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And Gwen.
Well, that brings up this idea of obviously, I prefer the WYSIWYG body to trying to do HTML. I had to look up a lot of HTML because I'd forgotten it all. And but my president wanted some red text and some blue text as her header, and so I don't know if is it possible on a feature enhancement that there could be color editing in the body.
We avoid the color font changes simply because of accessibility. Like we're trying to not only make the site as simple to use as possible, but also to increase accessibility for our users. With that said, though, HTML does allow you to change the font color if you are wanting to do that kind of on a one-off thing, then that's pretty easy to manage.
That is what I did. It's just that the next person who comes is going to have to deal with that poor body in HTML.
Yeah. I will say though that the only kind of color change, or because the text color around the site is just black, the heading size 3 is the only heading that does offer a blue.
Yeah, I realized if it were red and green, there were problems with that, and I hadn't thought about the accessibility, so that's really good.
Awesome. Yeah, Maddie.
Yeah, so I noticed when I tried to change things using HTML that it looked good, until I saved it and then it didn't show up. So that doesn't always work.
When you saved it still in HTML?
Right,
Huh.
right. It looked good in the, draft, but then when I published it, it seems it's been a while since I tried it. I just know I tried to do some font stuff and some color stuff, and none of it stuck. It looked like it worked, and then it didn't.
Hmm.
So, but it sounds like Gwen's did work. So,
And it could also be like newer ways to put that HTML attribute or something, a newer syntax. Because I know I've tried things before that I found it online and it says this is the way to write it, and then
right.
it doesn't give me anything. I can't recall if I did for a split second see it work, but I know that is out there. There's a HTML code that supposedly should work, but it may not be generating the outcome that we're looking for.
Right. Yeah, if I remember correctly, it looked good as long as I was, still in the draft. But then when I published it, it disappeared. So,
yeah, if you
so
come
I
across it
stopped
again,
trying to do that. I just stopped trying to do it.
okay, it sounds like you might not come across that again, but if ever, let me know because it's worth noting. Because as far as the HTML goes, if you're saving, if you've made all kinds of changes within HTML and you save it with the text editor set to full HTML, then it should work. The other thing now that I'm thinking of, Maddie, is that I've had this happen to me with PayPal code where I embed the PayPal code, I switch it to WYSIWYG so I can look at it. It looks nice. When I switch it back to full HTML, I can tell that my code has changed. So I wonder if that could possibly be part of it. And I've now changed my instruction as I record instructions for PayPal embedding. I'm like, don't switch it to WYSIWYG yet. Just save it. Because once you save it, then you can go back and you can switch it to WYSIWYG all you want and switch it back. There should be no issue. It's just that initial save really does something. So I
It's
wonder if that
possible
could be.
that's what it was.
If you put well, the HTML obviously was one continuous ongoing line. Do you know if you put white space in it, will it cause problems for it, or will it be okay?
I think it does hold.
Whether it holds or not, just while you're trying to get it right.
Oh yeah,
I should check.
it shouldn't actually visually cause those spaces, and I think it should as you save it be saved in that way. Another portion that I want to show, and I won't save any changes, Mike, but I want to show off with every, like even the homepage body, but a regular page's body section, we always have the body with embed code section below. So if you wanted to separate your HTML chunks, then you could use multiple paragraphs in addition to your body. Or if you were to leave the body section blank and you begin to only just use your body with embed code sections, they will take the top spot. So it won't even look as if the body is missing. Liz.
Mike, do you know about the Google group where you can ask questions or even search on issues?
No.
Yeah, let's show that off. I know that some folks from today came from the group, but if you aren't already part of our group, and I'll drop this in the chat.
I keep getting emails on the MyLO support group. Yes.
Oh, okay, so then you are. Okay.
All right, but I have not asked some questions. I get them in my box and I look at them and okay, how do I do this?
If you ever want to look at them online, let me drop this in the chat. And this is for Gmail users, or if your email is associated with your Google account, same thing. But if you go to groups.google.com or you go directly to our MyLO support group link,
Okay.
you can search our group online And it just as Liz said, you can kind of go through and not only ask your own questions, but you can see all that we've talked about.
Okay.
There's a lot of just general updates, but also questions that are being answered with help documents and videos and stuff.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. All righty, folks. Well, I think that brings us to the end of our session today. I really appreciate everybody being here.